from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. We're here with Derek Brower, Syracuse and pro basketball alum with a connection to the Toronto Raptors through the Danny Green family, knowing Danny Green Sr. and obviously Danny Jr., or as Derek calls him, Little Danny, coming in through the trade with Kawhi Leonard from the San Antonio Spurs to the Toronto Raptors, which without this trade, we wouldn't be where we're sitting right now in the NBA Finals with a 3-1 lead for the Toronto Raptors in their first ever NBA Finals in their 24 years of existence, with an opportunity at home to win the NBA Finals. They're up 3-1. They won both games in the Oracle, and now they are sitting here with Game 5 happening tonight, and Derek Brower is here with me right now. Derek, how you doing today?
I'm good, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and Derek, first and foremost, just what you can say about, you decided to kind of reconnect with the game. I mean, never being away from the game, but reconnect with like the NBA game as far as going out to the games. You'd said to me, I think it might go out to, I'm going out to Game 1 and we'll see about Game 2. And you seem to have picked the perfect time to be around the Raptors.
Yeah. Obviously, they're having a great season, and Danny is doing well. He's getting towards the end of his career. It's been a really, really good career, and I just really wanted to make sure that I got a chance to see him play. I missed the last finals as I was living in Australia when he was on San Antonio, so I made it a point to get to this one and really try to be there and share the moment with him, because it's been a long road. Known little Danny since he was born, and just to see him grow, get better, and represent our town, it's an amazing experience.
And when you see kind of what he's done and whatnot, I mean, this Raptors team has had an opportunity to, obviously do something extremely special this year, and different guys have stepped up at different times. Fred VanVleet, is kind of quiet. Then he had the birth of his child, and all of a sudden he's woken up, almost like the pressure's off of him. Kawhi has been Kawhi, but, the people around Kawhi, Fred VanVleet has had to step up, Serge Ibaka's had to step up, Marc Gasol has had to step up, Danny Green, Kyle Lowry at times. We've seen this team as the series go on. We'll say, okay, so Danny was quiet in this series, but now he's stepped up. So Fred VanVleet was quiet in this series, and now he's stepping up. Just what you could say about, the Raptors seem to continue to be evolving, and, Danny's one of those, I guess, most recent pieces that's really, come back, so to speak, and, meant a lot to this series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what it is that a lot of teams may go into the game playing Danny a certain way. Now, if they concentrate on taking Danny out the game and running him off the three-point line and making his shots a lot more difficult, it definitely puts a pressure on him, but at the same time, it relieves pressure off someone else. That be Ibaka or VanVleet or Kyle Lowry, because they're paying so much attention to Danny. And then a team may say, Green hasn't played well, he hasn't hit any shots, so we'll leave him alone and we'll concentrate on maybe doubling Kawhi or helping out on Gasol. And then next thing you know, Danny kills him. So it's been great. All of the guys have been stepping up, and that really shows you the team play of the Raptors. It's not all just about Kawhi. All of the guys actually enjoy their roles, and they perform when it's time, and that's what veterans and pros do.
And when you look at, what Danny's done in some of the shots that he's made and the moments that he's stepped up and whatnot, just maybe some of those or one of those that sticks out to you of what Danny Green's been able to do in the most recent series here with the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals, if there's a moment or two that sticks out to you.
Well, I like to watch him play defense. I think he's consistently hounding guys like Curry and Clay. But obviously, the big shot that he hit in the fourth quarter of Game 4 in Oracle after going 0 for 6 in the first quarter and then not starting the second half, but still being ready to hit a shot when it's time for him to do it. And that's the thing that impresses me most about little Dan. He's always ready, and he's very confident in what he does and what he's doing. And it's really hard to, I guess, pick one particular moment, because every time he shoots the ball, you know what I mean, I'm excited and I'm happy for him, especially when it goes in. But I would say that shot that he hit in Game 4, probably the only 3 he hit the whole game, but it really put a silence to the Warriors trying to make a little comeback, was probably one of the biggest shots, especially in the away game.
And when we see this speaking here with Derek Brower, Syracuse and Pro basketball alum with a strong connection to the Danny Green family, when we see, obviously players like Danny Green stepping up in Van Vliet and Serge Ibaka and so on and so forth, as I was talking about, and Pascal Siakam and all of that, what can you say about this team as a whole when you're watching this team live and you're on site and obviously you're watching, the West Coast games and whatnot? What can you say about what you've seen from this Raptors team, having played basketball and connected to the sport your whole life and knowing this game inside and out? What is this Raptors team showing you?
Well, it's a great mix of youth and veteranship, which makes a great team. And I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed, even watching them off the court, they all get along. They have, Pascal Siakam, he's a young kid, very funny, very jubilant. But then you have the older guys, the veterans, like Danny, like Powell. And so it's a real good combination of youth and veteran leadership, and there are no egos. Everyone is out there, and they're happy for when it's the time for the next man to step up, whether it be Norm Powell or someone else coming off the bench. So that was the biggest thing that I noticed. They are really together as a unit, and they have fun. You watch them, they're all, especially in practice, they're all laughing and communicating, and there's a lot of talking and readjustment going on in terms of how they're going to attack certain things, and they all agree on it. No one is thinking, well, you know what, I have to give up some shots because they're playing us a certain way. It's all about what's going to be best for the team, and it's really prevalent to see, like I said, when they're off the court and they're just hanging out and laughing around together. And it's fun for me just to be a fly on the wall. I'm just sitting here and just amazed at, the enjoyment that these kids are having, and also the fact that, they really are playing together with one common focus, and that's to win the championship.
And have that common focus and have that connection. They go over to Oracle for 2 games, and it's funny because in Oracle, obviously premonitions and whatnot and knowing of the future, I said, well, the Oracle must have said that Toronto was going to win both on the West Coast. What do you think about that, the fact that they went into Golden State, and this is after Golden State ties the series 1-1, and they take both games in Golden State, proving that they can win on the road if people were worried about that, proving that they could defeat Golden State in Golden State if people were worried about that. Just what you could say about, these games and what they did and how they did it. Even with, I think Steph Curry had 47 one of the games, almost 50 points, and they still were able to win. Just what it says about the Raptors that they went to Oracle twice, back-to-back Game 3 and Game 4, and won them both.
Well, they're an extremely confident team. I think that they predicate everything they do on their defense, and they trust Kawhi in the fact that when we need something to happen offensively, he'll make it happen. He'll make the right decision. He'll make the right shot. And so the other 4 guys just really are confident in terms of, look, I'll do my job, and everyone else will do what they're supposed to do. But it all starts defensively. They feel that they have one of the best defensive teams in the NBA because when they go with certain lineups, they can just switch on every play, 1 through 5. so they're not really affected by certain guys getting caught on screen and rolls and having to switch off on Clay or having to switch off on Curry. Obviously, you don't want someone like Serge Ibaka being stuck there, but there are certain times where Serge has the ability to move his feet and to play defense on someone a little bit smaller than him. So that gives them all confidence. And they're really concentrating on the defensive end of the court and making adjustments in film and stuff like that on how they can stop what Golden State just does offensively. And also Golden State they've known to have a lot of unforced turnovers. So the Raptors are really taking advantage of that, and it's giving them confidence on the offensive end.
And to see this, to see this team do what it's done, to see the Raptors, be in a 3-1 advantage right now, a 3-1 advantage being in their first ever NBA Finals. How surprised are you? Are you not surprised? I mean, the world seems surprised. So, what's been your reaction to this, being so close to the Green family and, breaking bread with them after these games and talking to them about different stuff? I know after Game 1, you talked about being with Danny Green, Sr. and Jr., and discussing the series and the games and what was going on. How surprised or not surprised are you in the Raptors right now?
Well, I have to be honest, I'm just as surprised as everyone else. I think that with KD not being there, it definitely gave them an even playing field. But there was still a lot of things that they needed to overcome when they faced the Raptors the first game. I mean, even after the Game 2 loss, one of the things that Little Danny mentioned was that Serge seemed scared out there, and that was something, or nervous. I can't use the word scared because he's a pro, he's been there, but he was a lot more nervous than he usually was. And Danny said that was, unusual, especially for Serge. So to see him come back and play well in Game 4 when they really needed it, that tells me that even individually, they're evolving and trusting, with in one another, and it's really great. I mean, I think that they really feel that they're going to make history and do something special. I'll be honest with you. I think it's really going to be tough tonight. The Golden State is not going to just lay down and give up like that. So the Raptors are definitely going to have to play steady, play smart, but it's obviously going to be loud and very electric in that stadium. So they're going to have the crowd behind them, and they're going to have to just keep it consistently on play on defense, and just really hope things work out.
Speaking here,
I want to go back to Oracle.
Speaking here with Derek Brower, Syracuse and Pro basketball alum, on his closeness to the Danny Green family and the Toronto Raptors, and, as a whole this season, what they've been able to do. Like you said, Golden State's not going to lay down, but it's very, very difficult to play at Scotiabank Arena, the former Air Canada Center. Very difficult to play there in front of about 20,000 people. You got Jurassic Park right outside. You got another viewing center from there. So, I mean, to have all of that together in the way that it is and kind of what's going on, just what you could say about not just, the difficulty of playing inside of Scotiabank Arena, but the fact that these fans are literally everywhere. There's as many fans, if not more, outside than there are inside. Jurassic Park is filled with Raptors, and, so is the stadium. And this is just a really, truly amazing kind of sight here to show people what the outside of the arena looks like even, and what Jurassic Park looks like. So just what you could say about the fact that Golden State's not going to lay down, but the Raptors have fans that can fill up 3 stadiums that are going to be there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just walking through, just walking downtown Toronto, the whole conversation was nothing but Raptors. I mean, guys in business suits, guys in, bungee shorts, everyone was talking Raptors basketball. And, so the whole town is definitely, the whole province is definitely fired up, and I would say the country. So the Warriors are definitely going to have a lot of people rooting against them, and the energy given out to the Raptors is going to be amazing. So it's really, really gonna be a great time up there. I'm sorry if I'm huffing. Can you hear me, Dan?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, you're fine.
Yeah, I just got sent on a mission.
No.
I got to drop some stuff off to the youngest green. Danny has a little sister who's just turned 5, and his father's sending me on a mission to tutor time, so I'm sorry about if there's some issues. But, yeah, we're real excited. Dan Senior's jumping on the plane now, but I drove down from Syracuse, so I got to get on the road, and I think I'm just going to drive to Toronto. But, yeah, he's excited.
So for you to be driving up there for Game 5, I mean, this is something where, like, we were talking Game 1, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to go up and see it. I'm going to see the family. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be cool. We'll see what we can do. And now it's like you're in it. So have you become, or have you been, have you been a Raptors fan? Have you just kind of gone wherever Danny's gone? You know, where do you sit right now? Because you officially have been, with this team for the majority of the series, and with the Green family for the majority of this, and you've been around Leo Routens and, some of the broadcast staff and whatnot. So, I mean, you're pretty much in it right now.
Well, I'm full disclosure, I'm a Laker fan. All right, so, but we understand what kind of trouble that they're in nowadays. But no, obviously, like I said, with growing up with Big Dan and watching Danny through high school and then North Carolina and San Antonio, obviously, I support him no matter where he's at. But as far as the Raptors concerned, no, actually, I never really watched them. I was never a big Raptors fan. But now, like I said, experiencing Toronto and seeing the organization and meeting a lot of the other guys. I mean, Kyle Lowry, we sat down and I spoke to him. Me and Danny was speaking to him after Game 1. He was a great guy, and I'm really a Kyle Lowry fan. You know what I mean? Now, I used to think that he would underperform during the playoffs, but now that I've gotten a chance to speak to him and really understand his personality, he's a great guy and he's a bulldog, and I would go in the trenches with him at any time, and I can see why the rest of the Raptors love him.
And he has been, Kyle Lowry's been consistently inconsistent. So fans, that love him or want to love him, have been a little bit frustrated with that, when they need a couple more points here and there, to see him, to want him to take over and not see that happen. So, there's been that love relationship that's also turned into that, a little bit of frustration. So you said, now that you've sat down with him, you'd go to battle with him, you'd go to war with him. Why is that? What did he do? What did he show you? What did he say that just made you feel like, oh, okay, well, I felt like other people and, thought this guy should be more consistent or he's not doing enough. What sitting down with him changed your mind?
Well, a lot of it had to do with just his humility. He just came off as a very genuine young man. He explained a lot of the things that he went through during that whole not being able to get over the hump period, and also just the vibe that I got from him as a person. And then watching him on the court, I could really say that, no matter if this guy scores 20 points or no points, he's giving you everything he's got. And I'll tell you, I was watching an interview after Game 3, I think, when Kyle had that little run-in with the guy in the stands, and he said something very important. He said that throughout that, the interviewer asked him, well, how did you regain your focus? Because that was a very crucial part of the game. And he said when he was still fuming over the situation, but what happened was, after speaking during a timeout, after speaking to Danny, and after speaking to Marc Gasol, and after speaking to other veterans, they actually calmed him down and allowed him to refocus. So what happened was, to me, now what I did is I reverted back to, I think that when controversy came up in years prior with him and DeMar DeRozan, I think instead of calming each other down, they actually probably hyped each other up, and which made them fall into a deeper, ability to not focus on the situation. So for him to admit that, these guys brought me back into focus, and I was able to remain steady and play. Once again, it just tells me what kind of person he is. Is that he's very open to understanding and getting better. And you gotta love to be able to play with a guy like that.
And, with him, like you said, the humbleness, I think a lot of things, or the moment that a lot of people, I should say, kind of fell in love with him was when they advanced to the NBA Finals out of the Eastern Conference, and we just saw after the Milwaukee Bucks series, we just saw, him kind of putting his hand to his head and smiling and kind of looking like a little kid in disbelief and then also in relief and in happiness. That was a moment that'll forever be, etched in history, especially if they win the NBA Finals. Do you think that, that was kind of a sign too? Because there was a lot of a connection to that, Lowry, because Kawhi's just come in and Danny's just come in and Serge has just come in recently and Marc Gasol and Jeremy Lin and so on and so forth. A lot of these guys have not been here. Norm Powell, has for a bit and Fred VanVleet. But the guy that's been here in the trenches the longest, longer than Pascal Siakam and all that is Kyle Lowry. So that moment for him to have waited so long and gone through so much, that seems to be one of the moments where fans really just kind of wanted to give him a hug. Do you feel that as well?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he has put in a lot of time there, and he's definitely put his heart and soul into Toronto. I think he was a little devastated at the trade in the beginning of the season, as anyone would be. I mean, if you spend 7 years with a guy going through battles and wars, it's going to affect you a bit emotionally, if he's no longer there. And I asked little Danny about that. I asked him, I said, listen, how did Kyle accept you guys when you first got there? Now, Danny and Kyle had known each other because they came up around the same time, so they played in AAU and they known each other, just in passing. But Danny said, no, Kyle was great. He accepted them with open arms. But you had to believe, just by human nature, that there was some apprehension between both parts. But once again, when you have guys that are humble with no egos, it becomes a lot easier to form bonds, and it's exactly what the Raptors have done. I'm sure that Kyle would love to have his friend DeMar experiencing this, but he also is enjoying the moment. His family's enjoying it, and it's really great for him, and I'm so happy and really excited for him. Like I said, after meeting him and just talking to him and seeing the passion and the sincerity, and also the awareness, he has the self-awareness of, listen, we haven't made it over the hump, and for me to be considered a great player, I have to do this or have to be a part of this. And he's willing to do whatever he needs to do to have that happen. And
for you, Derek, before I let you go here, to look at kind of going a little bit beyond that and past Kyle, to the bigger picture of this series, you brought it up a little bit, and that was the fact that, Kevin Durant hasn't played. Now, some people are saying Game 3, but more likely Game 4. You came on my show just a few days back and said, I don't think he's playing at all. We haven't seen him practice, and, the team was talking about the fact that he wasn't out there and he wasn't practicing, wasn't doing, the organized activities and whatnot. So we don't think he's going to be out there. Now, he's marked as questionable. What do you think? Is it smoke and mirrors? I mean, to come back at this point down 3-1, is that something that he should do? Is the body ready? Because it seems that you've been right in what you had said of, he's probably not even going to, we're not going to see him this series more than likely, and we haven't yet. So he is in Toronto. He did travel there, but he did that for games 1 and 2 and didn't play. So what do you think this is? Is it a smoke and mirrors kind of like make everybody scared, or do you think we could see him?
I actually think that he's not going to play, and there's 2 reasons for that. Number one, I don't think they were totally honest about the injury that he sustained. I really believe it was a high Achilles strain. And that because of, I noticed when I seen him a few times, where he was getting treatment, that ice pack was too low on his calf to be a calf sprain, and also for the fact that he's going into a contract year. I really don't think he's going to jeopardize tearing that Achilles totally for this situation. I could be wrong. I even seen some footage of him working out, and he's not at full speed. I mean, he can jog a little bit, but that is nothing compared to the speed of an actual NBA game, and I just don't think he's going to risk it.
And, it makes a lot of sense that he would, kind of stay out of this thing, and that the injury could be a little bit worse than, what people had originally thought, because we haven't seen him in this series at all. Toronto, let's say, they win the NBA Finals. Does anything get taken away from them? Does the conversation immediately go to, oh, well, there was no Kevin Durant, yada, yada, yada? Because I do want to let fans know that Kevin Durant was on the Golden State Warriors playing and scored 51 points in the game that Toronto won in overtime, and then Toronto went to Golden State, to Oracle in the regular season, and won by 20 points without Kawhi Leonard playing a single moment in the game. So they've seen Kevin Durant beat them. They've beaten the Warriors without their best player, Kawhi Leonard. So I just want to preface with that. But, does anything get taken away from the Raptors in the narrative? Because we know that, other people in the media like to, instead of give credit where credit's due, they like to always find the negative in it. So what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I just had this the other day with a friend of mine, and I tell you what, if you look at, and they're still going out there with 4 all-stars coming off the bench, a few Hall of Famers, so to use one player as the reason why they, if they don't win the series, is the reason why they lost, is it's absolutely ludicrous, because injuries and different things are part of the game. But when you still have 2 of the greatest shooters, one of the greatest defensive players, a guy like Boogie Cousins, Andre Iguodala, there's no excuses. What's actually happening is the Raptors are outplaying the Warriors as a team. Now, we're not talking individuals. The Raptors don't have the individual stat lines, the individual players who have the stat lines of the Warriors. But basketball is a team sport. And if you can get all 5 guys playing cohesively on the same page, then, you're usually going to be successful, because there's only one basketball and only one person can shoot it. So, with a team like the Raptors, who are happy with guys playing their particular roles and playing them to their max, no, there's no taking away from them. This is a total team effort, and that's what basketball is, team sport.
That coming from Derek Brower here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, close with the Danny Green family, Syracuse and pro basketball alum, and connected with, obviously, this series and what's been going on here and being around it. Derek, in closing, just what you could say about being around the team and, getting that kind of special feel, the information that nobody else is getting, those dinners that nobody else is having, just what that's been like for you to chronicle these Raptors through the NBA Finals and be able to sit down not only with Danny Green and his father, but, sit down with other people like Kyle Lowry, and just what that's meant to you.
Look, it's hard for me to say, but they've actually made me a fan. As someone who's played the game at some of the highest levels, you try to, I guess, not put yourself in a position where you become a fan. But watching little Danny, I'm a pure fan of his. I've become a fan of the Raptors in general, and I'm just enjoying it. As a guy who's 52 years old and went through my little basketball experience, it's amazing to live vicariously through little Danny, to have this opportunity, and I'm just really enjoying the experience, and it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, like I said, he's excited. The whole city's excited. His family's excited. So it's just amazing. It's an amazing experience, and it's really hard to explain. So it's just great, man. It really is.
Well, it's We the North America is what I've been putting out there since the beginning. It's not We the North anymore. It's We the North America. I think the world is waiting and hoping that red and purple are going to be bleeding strong at the end of this thing.
Well, you know what? It's going to be a great game tonight, but I really have confidence that the Raptors are going to take care of business. So, let's just see. And it'll be great for Danny to put another one of those trophies down in his basement and he just top off an illustrious career from a kid who, like I said, is one of the the greatest kids and one of the humblest kids that you could ever meet. And I tell you what, Dan, I can't guarantee you, right after the finals, but I'm going to be working Danny's camp later on in July, and I'm going to stay on him to try to get him to come on your show and give you at least a few minutes. I'm definitely going to do that, and I'm pretty sure that I could get him to come on and talk to you. So that's something we'll try to arrange, and I hope your fans appreciate that.
Yeah, and I would appreciate. That's very generous of you and very kind of you. And after 24 years of being a fan of these Raptors since I was 9 years old, definitely, professionally and personally would be something pretty special. So, thank you for that. Thank you for thinking of me. And like I told you, on top of all that, take as much gear as you can find in those bins.
Yeah, it goes quick, man. It goes quick. I got bum rushed as soon as I got home. But, you know what? I'm definitely going to keep you in mind, and we'll pull some Toronto stuff out for you.
Well, it sounds good, and I hope that you have a great time at Game 5, and definitely say hello to the Green family for us, here at Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I would love to have Danny on the show because, as my aunt said, who's been a fan forever, my Aunt Donna, God bless her, she said, people talk about Kawhi coming over, but Danny Green's a really good player that they got in this, and, to get DeMar DeRozan, they ship Kawhi, they give him cash, and they give him Danny Green. Toronto obviously made out in this, and Danny Green wasn't the focal point of the draft, yet they kind of snuck in a pretty darn good player, which is something special.
Well, yeah, it was a great move by Masai Ujiri, the GM. I think San Antonio were being a little frugal. I don't think they really wanted to pay Danny what he was owed. And they thought it would be best to, get that contract off their hands, which is a business move, I understand. But at the same time, little Danny was excited to go to a new place where he could rejuvenate himself and play with a lot more confidence. I mean, anybody who's been watching him throughout the years, he's playing a lot better than he did in San Antonio. And that gives some confidence from the coaching staff, from the organization. They were happy to have him. And and he was just really excited to be a part of that trade, and it's worked out well,
Yeah, and I think that it's going to be, an awesome opportunity for Toronto as they move forward to do what they're doing right now and to have these players that they did, playing like a family, playing like a true team, and doing exactly, what I was told years ago they were doing after Chris Bosh left, which is, we're not looking to just have one superstar and that's it. And Kawhi has been such a team player that even though he is so good, great even, that there's all these other guys that have really made this a team and made this a very special season. DeMar DeRozan leaving and Dwayne Casey being let go was very questionable and very confusing, and now fans are kind of seeing what this front office of the Raptors had in mind as they move forward. So it's going to be a great Game 5, and we're looking to see if Toronto can shut this door for good inside of Scotiabank and Jurassic Park. And with that being said, I'd love to have you back on the show. I know we're going to stay connected and whatnot, but give my best to the Green family and let Danny know that when he sees that shot to make sure that he takes it, because you got to take the ones that you're given, right? And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's absolutely right, and that's what we tell them. Just keep shooting. Just keep shooting. As long as they keep you out there, keep shooting. If you're not hitting, then somebody else will step up. And he has to be aggressive in order to help his teammates. So we're looking forward to the game tonight. I hope everybody tunes in, and it's been a pleasure talking to you, Dan, as always.
Absolutely. So have a good day, and I appreciate your time, Derek, and we'll talk with you soon.
All right. Take care.
Take care. That coming from Derek Brower one more time. Syracuse Pro basketball alum, very close with the Danny Green family, growing up around them, being around them, seeing Danny Green Jr., who's on the Toronto Raptors ever since he was a little kid. So if you're looking out for number 14 tonight in the games, that is a big-time connection and somebody who will always be little Danny to Derek Brower. So I want to thank Derek for his unique angle and his time around the team that he's been able to share with us. He said with us days ago, in the beginning of the series, I don't think Kevin Durant's going to play. And, that's sitting here right now in a reality. So could have broken something right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And definitely, all of his insight is much appreciated as the Toronto Raptors get set for Game 5 and their hope and desire to win their first ever NBA Finals. They're in their first NBA Finals in 24 years. And now they're trying to not only be in it, but win it against the Golden State Warriors, the Big Bad Wolf, and Game 5 happens tonight, Monday, June 10th, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, as the fans and the country of Canada, as well as the United States and 47 states who said that they're hoping that the Raptors win. That's why I put We the North and the hashtag We the North America. And speaking of being We the North America, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is proud to be on the road broadcasting live with you from Orlando, Florida. So thank you so much for listening in on Thursday and watching, and on Friday as well, and here on Monday, June 10th. I want to thank all my beautiful and wonderful partners inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and those people are Carvel DeWitt, Utica Pizza Company, as well as Frightmare Farms, the Wildcat Sports Pub. I want to thank each and every single one of you so very much for all that you've done. You can see all my partners on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. Once again, Carvel DeWitt, Utica Pizza Company, Frightmare Farms, the Syracuse Stallions, PressRoom Pub, where we have trivia every Tuesday, including this Tuesday, June 11th at 7 p.m. at 220 Herald Place in downtown Syracuse. Dominick's Restaurant, where we have trivia every Wednesday, including this Wednesday, June 12th at 7 p.m. at 1370 Burnett Avenue in Syracuse. Honda City of Liverpool, the Museum of Intrigue, located on the third floor of Destiny USA. Frightmare Farms, like I mentioned, is going to be doing a summer event at the end of June. Home Team Pub, where we have all of our Liverpool-centric athletic events. True by Hilton Camillus in Township 5, which has an indoor sport court and is totally unique to the other hotels that we have in our central and upstate New York area. So make sure you head out there for a tremendous experience. It is Hilton quality service at the most affordable price. And then we have the Wildcat Sports Pub that is within walking distance of True by Hilton Camillus, and that's where we have our West Genesee events, fantasy football exclusively, and so much more. K9 Campground, dog boarding, and dog daycare, and a place that I trust to take care of my babe. And then Charney's Men's Clothing, which is obviously our studio and our travel studio, located on 3150 Erie Boulevard East in Syracuse, New York, to dress up and dress down, fit for every single man. And make sure you go out there to Charney's Men's Clothing today. Let them know that we sent you over there, and get your unique style at Charney's. Whatever you're looking for, or if you're looking to change it up a little bit, do it at Charney's. Thank you so much for tuning in. You'll find Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora 24/7 on wakeupcalldt.com. You can join free here on MixLR and follow the show, and that'll allow you to do two great things. One of them, you can chat with us during the live broadcast, every live broadcast, in the chat room. Only members can do that, and they do that for free. And you'll be emailed when the show goes live, so you'll never miss a live show again, no matter where we are. So make sure you become a member at mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. And find us on Facebook 24/7 at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. In the meantime, God bless, no stress, and have yourselves a tremendous day. I appreciate y'all, I love y'all, and I thank you for listening in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.